Alright, so the upper subframe connectors are all welded in and definitely not going anywhere. The next thing to do here is to plug up all these factory holes on the frame rails that you see, and some of the scars from removing the old subframe connectors on both the inside and the outside of the rail. It'll keep the debris and moisture from getting trapped inside the channel, but also give it a lot more strength since the side of the rails will now be tied into the 2x2 running inside the channel. Also have to weld up this bottom portion of the top connectors that run through the underside of the car. Just get everything solid and sealed up nice. So once all that's zipped up, it'll be time to prep everything and put in the subframe connectors for good. I'm going to paint the areas that will no longer be accessible with some epoxy and shoot some weld through primer closer to the actual welding spots. Putting these lowers in will not only stiffen the car even more, but it'll make everything look good as new under here. So these run all the way back to the torque boxes. They'll get tied in there, and they'll also be welded into the rockers down the road. So yeah, I mean, this car is going to be stiff. Short of having like a 10-point roll cage in here, the difference is going to be really drastic. Alright, so the last thing I've got going in as far as the underside goes are these Stifler's Fit System braces that I picked up a while back. These will tie in the lower subframe connectors to the rocker rails that I put in a while ago. So essentially everything will be tied in together and braced really well. So each side comes in two separate pieces. It's kind of like a front portion and a back portion. There is a certain way they're installed, but there is a little bit of leeway to position them how you see fit. So I'll play around with that when the time comes. But before I weld these in, I'm gonna get the Cobra back up on jacks so I can take a look and see what's going on underneath with all the fuel lines and whatnot. Since the Saleen is getting all the Cobra's hard lines, I just want to make sure that if I weld this in, I can still route all the lines in after. So these will have to wait for the time being, but I'll grab one and mock it up and kind of give an idea of how they'll fit up on the car, or at least one side anyways. So something like that basically. It's going to tie in everything nicely. The last little piece of restoration that I'm going to do underneath here, basically just clean everything up, get everything prepped for paint. I'm going to redo all the seams, so new seam sealer everywhere. As far as the inside of the car goes, I'm going to give it the same treatment, clean everything up, prep it for paint, give it a nice refresh, redo all the seams, new seam sealer everywhere, and then finally get it painted. So I do have one last thing to measure up and install in here. I'll probably leave a little sneak peek, but as far as the video goes, I'll probably leave it there for now, and I'll see you on the next one.